know the date, but it's this is coming up. Well, we have to have it Wednesday, so the county can pass theirs Thursday, and we have to have it to Atlanta by September 1st.
And so how long have y'all known about the budget shortfalls?
We actually, last Friday, we got cut $1.2 million. I mean, it's been coming, we get emails daily.
That's been a moving target. I mean, state budget was set, and then there was some cuts made. The next day there was a 5% cut against all categorical grants made. Then later, I mean, it's not been just a cut, it's been multiple cuts. So you've been looking at one thing, you kind of figure something to do and overcome that as a board and superintendent and personnel in the central office, and then something else comes along. So I mean, it has been a moving target, and what we're saying, one reason we need and fund equity balance is we're afraid those cuts are not over. And once we set the millage rate and set that down, and we're locked into that until the next go round. And hopefully this economy will pick up and turn. When it'll pick up and turn, I don't know either.
So the 1.2 million cut on Friday is what led to the 4 point whatever increase this week?
We've been discussing the millage rate and talking about where we needed to be for 6 weeks now. I mean, once we first thing we got to get is our tax digest. One, we got to get our potential budget and what we're going to get from the state, what we're going to get from the federal, and what we need from the local. Because it's kind of it's a two-part thing. One, you got to figure out what you need, then you got to take it and see what that'll do. How many meals you need of taxes to get to that dollar amount. What you've been collecting in the past, what's changed. One thing that hurt us this time is that I don't know that since I've been on the board that the county total assessed value has gone down, and it went total value decreased this year as opposed to increasing. So
I'll speak a little bit, not to just on my personal kind of what we're doing. I know in February when cuts initially started, which is what you're probably talking about, I've been going to the board. That was when Mr. Fry was still here, but we're going to the board monthly with our update of our closest projection of what we thought would get cut. The board made almost $800 to $1 million in cuts last year while we were working through that, and the board is still making cuts. It's just that the cuts have not been as fast as a pace as the revenue cuts. But I personally have been looking at any options, and I'm open to them.
And I feel like this is a group that we kind of feel like there's no time now to change anything. This is being a crossroads. This is what we've got to accept, because now that the decision has to be made, we don't have time to look at any other ideas or any other solutions. Nobody wants to decrease the quality of the education that our kids are getting. Nobody in this room. But by the same token, we just don't like it being pushed on us, and there's no options. It's got to be done in a week.
One reason this is so late getting out, and I need the county commissioners or the tax commissioners to probably talk on this point. But I know you know as property owners that you got a property tax assessment, and then we got a second property tax assessment after that. I think it was House Bill 233 was passed. And what happened is we actually had our millage hearing set probably a month and a half earlier than now. And then we were required, I can't remember if it was 45 days or 60 days, but we had to legally wait that many days until we could actually start this process again, which was, that date was August 3rd. We were not allowed to start advertising a millage increase till August 3rd. And then when you advertise, you have to advertise and wait 7 days before you do your next advertisement. And then you have to wait 7 more days before you are allowed to have your first millage hearing. So I do understand, and I do understand that it's unfair, but that was kind of, August 3rd was that first date we could start talking about this, because we had to wait on everybody to have a chance to appeal the property tax assessments before we could move forward, if that helps.
I want you to know that cutting our budget or raising taxes is not our only two options. Our other option, whether it will help us today or not, but it can help us after October, is to increase and maximize state revenue. We talked about reducing teachers here. We all hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, it's not an automatic savings. When we were to take a teacher off of our payroll, the state's going to quit funding a teacher. What Mr. Isa met with me this afternoon and said, I didn't know this, I'll admit you I didn't know this, We have Title 6B. It's a fund that can, federal funds that can go towards special education. We're paying most all of our special education parapros with that, not with local money. Mr. Edis says, don't do that. Take all those parapros and put them on your local money. Take your lowest paid teachers that teach special ed and put them on 6B. What that does is, you take your lowest paid teachers off of your state money. The state pays us not a 1-to-1 for every teacher. The state pays us an average. Whatever the average teacher's educational level and their average experience level, that's what we get paid. So move the lowest paid teachers off of general, local funds, state funds, and move it to federal. Take the parapros and put it back over on our side, and our average rises, and we'll earn more from the state. Those are the type of things that we're going to be intently working upon to increase and maximize state revenue. Cutting and raising local are not only two options. Maximizing state revenue is a top priority, and we've got some ideas today that we literally didn't have yesterday.
None of those will come into effect in the next week.
No, because we don't have an FTE count to October, and that is not possible. But we're looking beyond this week and next week.
But again, in all this process, we've been looking at ways to cut or change or what we could do. I mean, not just since it's been advertised, but before it was advertised, when we got the first valuation of the county. And then again, that changed. But during this whole process, we've not been not doing anything. We've been working and looking at it. I mean, we've been trying to do some things to where we could come out the best for everybody in the county. And like I said, there has been a lot of hard work and a lot of effort put in by everybody in the central office staff, principals, and other folks have put in a lot of work in trying to come up with a lot of different ways that we could maximize the funds we're getting. And it's not been nothing done. Yes, sir.
I might be speaking just for myself, but I think a lot of people would agree that one